Hi everyone, and welcome back to Purpose to Love. My name is Randy, and today I want to talk to you guys about comparing yourself versus being content. Right now, a lot of us are still quarantined. We're still home all day, every day. And you might find yourself on social media a lot more. You might find yourself talking to friends and family members a lot more. And something that I noticed personally as I've been doing all those things as well, I noticed that I was starting to compare myself a lot and just what it was doing to me. So I wanted to kind of share my thoughts and ideas that I had with you, hopefully from more of a lens for those who are serving people with special needs, whether you're a parent or a direct care worker at this time. But really it's for anyone and everyone. I think we all can, relate to comparing ourselves to other people. So I want to hop right into this. So the first part is, what does comparing yourself do to you? Like, what does it physically or emotionally do to you? The first thing that it does is it depletes your energy. It takes all of your energy as you are sitting and looking at someone else's life and comparing your own. It just takes too much energy. Emotional, mental, physical, probably energy. You're forcing yourself to stay up late at night, like swiping through everyone's stuff. So it definitely can take a lot of your energy away. Also, it causes you to be distracted. It takes your mind away from what's right in front of you. Your individual you're serving, it takes that attention away from them. It takes your focus away from your child when you're starting to compare yourself to other parents or your child to other children. So it definitely can be a form of distraction. It also can be confusing. When you're looking at multiple people's lives all day long, it can be confusing. When you start to look at how this one parent is doing this with their child, or this one person is doing that with their child, and you're thinking to yourself, am I not doing this right? Am I not doing that right? Should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? It just can be like confusing. And then I believe that comparing yourself can open up space for you to become bitter. When you start to compare yourself and look at someone else's life and what they have and what you want, and looking at your situation saying, oh, this is hard, this is tough, and then looking at someone else's situation saying, wow, I wish I had that looks so much easier to deal with, it can cause bitterness. You can start to feel frustrated or develop resentment towards that person. Or even if you're like a direct care worker or someone who's working in the field, and you look at your coworker and they have like a really great relationship with the client or the student, and you want that, and you're feeling frustrated, like, oh, like I can't compete with that personality type, or I can't, you start to compare yourself to them. And in all actuality, you don't have to, right? You are who you are, they are who they are, and there's room for all of it. It also can bring about, with all that said, it can bring about low self-esteem. You can start to feel that you're not good enough to do what you're doing. You don't feel, when you see a parent who's doing all these wonderful things with their kid at home, you're like, oh, I'm not doing any of things. Like, we're just trying to get by. And you might start to, lose some self-esteem, and some insecurities might come up. Also, it tries to, when you start to compare yourself, it tries to take you away from your own time frame. You start to try to put your life into someone else's race in their lane, and you're trying to catch up, and that never works for anybody. Okay, so those are just some thoughts I had on what comparing yourself does to you. So let's move on to something more positive. So what happens when you are content? When you're content, number one, you have energy. You have more life to give. You have more energy. You're not putting your time and attention elsewhere. You're able to just put your time and your focus into what's in front of you. And that adds so much more life and so much more productivity when you have energy to pour into yourself and into your child or to the person you're serving. Also, it allows for, number two, peace. It allows you to have more peace. When you're content, being content is a type of peace, but when you're content, you can really live that out. You're not worrying or rushing to try to do this or that and the other and keep up with the Joneses. You are at peace. You're recognizing that you are who you are, and your child or your client is who they are, who is who they is. But you are who you are, and they are who they are. You can accept them for who they are, and you can accept yourself for your role that you play in their life. There's a peace that comes about you when there's an acceptance in that. I also noticed that when you are content, you have more opportunity for you to pour into building up your self-esteem. You can build up your self-esteem when you have more energy and when you have more peace about you. You can start to look at yourself as a whole and say, okay, well, these are some of the things I'm doing right, and you can pat yourself on the back and encourage yourself. You can build your self-esteem up when you have contentment. Also, it allows you to keep your own pace. When you are content, you are not trying to run someone else's race and try to meet things in their time frame, but you're able to stay in your lane and maintain your pace, and really encourage your child to maintain their pace. When you have a child with special needs, I know that there have been parents that might look at their child and then look at another student and say, oh, why they're able to do this, why isn't my child able to do that? And it's just the pace your child is going at, and allowing them to move at their own pace and accepting their whole person. When we're in the education field or in human services, we talk about person-centered planning. We're looking at the whole person. We're looking at what they like, what they don't like, what their skills are, what their challenges are, and we take that whole person into account when we are trying to teach them or help them to learn more skills, and they're just different. Every ISP or IEP looks so different from the next. Of course, there are similarities and there's some overlaps, but not every Down syndrome person is the same. Not every person with autism is the same. And so, we can't compare them to each other. We have to just accept and see them as a whole person and allow them to move at their own pace. So being content allows you to move at your own pace. Last but not least, I think this is really important, is when you're content, you have the ability to be more creative. When you're content as a parent or someone working with someone with special needs, you have the ability to now just be more open to receiving ideas, or you're more open to coming up with creative ideas on how to support them, how to care for them in a different or unique way. That you might not have thought of if you were looking at everything else or everyone else. But when you're content and you've accepted your role in their life and you've accepted them as who they are, you are now able to be a little bit more creative in how you would engage with them and how you communicate with them, and you're more conscious about the whole process. So those were just my thoughts on comparing yourself and being content. If you have any more thoughts on the topic, please leave a comment below. And if you liked it, please hit the thumbs up button or share. That would be great. And just remember your purpose to love. So I'll see you soon. Bye.